So here we're going to show you a couple bookbinding techniques. The first one we'll show you is saddle stitch, and that's a one signature, which a signature is just a collection of pages half folded, folded over, and that'll be stitched together. We'll poke the holes with an awl. You'll see that tool with a wooden handle. That could just be a needle or anything sharp to poke a hole with. We'll also use a bone folder. That can be anything smooth and plastic. Okay, for saddle stitch, you need a bone folder, scissors, an awl or anything to poke holes in the paper with, a string, and a sewing needle. Piece of cardboard for punching holes. So here I'm taking my sketchbook paper, folding it over, making a signature, making sure the edges are lined up, and then I'm just creasing the center with my thumb, then using the bone folder or anything plastic to work out from the center. So here we have our signature. Using a pencil just to mark roughly 3 holes. Ideally you would measure this. Punching the hole with the awl. The length of string should be at least twice the height of your book. And off camera now I'm just feeding the string through the eye of the needle. And I'm starting from the inside of the signature, pushing the needle through and out, back in, towards that smallest, the furthest hole. And then I'm pulling that so I have about equal distance in the string on each side. Now what I'm doing is taking that one end, pushing it through the center. Just leave it like that for now. Take the sewing needle off. Thread the other end of the string through the needle. And then pushing that through that center hole as well. Now from there you can pull on both strings to get it nice and tight. Now I'm just going to tie a small knot. And now I'm just trimming off the excess. And that's it.
In this video, you'll learn about stab binding. Stab binding is an old technique where it's very simple. You have a brush, some glue, you have scissors, pencil, ruler, and I like to have a clip. So what you're going to do is first measure out where you're going to put the holes. And traditionally, a lot of people put many different holes in many different sections. I'm only going to do 3 for you. And I like to use that little clip just to hold it together. Now what I'm doing over top of the pencil mark is just using an awl. Once I have that, I thread my needle. You want to make sure it's double the size of the book, the thread. And make sure you have a clean edge with the thread, otherwise it will be hard to, it will unravel on you. So I always start from the back in the middle. And it's just because that's where I'll end up at the end of the book, of the binding. And then you can go either direction, but first you want to go down and then you go back through so that you have a ending point. Then you're going to circle around to make the next stitch. And you're going to go back through again, the middle. Sometimes it's hard to get the thread through, so you just have to be careful. And sometimes I also like to wax my thread, which I didn't do at this time. I like to leave a little bit extra at the end so I can tie it off. And then I'm going to repeat the action. So I'm off camera right now, just sewing the same stitching. So now I've finished my holes and the stitching, and I'm tying it off. And you want to make sure you don't clip it until the end. Take off the needle, hold it down with your finger, the thread, so you can pull it taut. And then you're just going to cut off the edges or the ends of the thread. And I like to do it close so I can hide it underneath the long stitch. Just to, at the end, I like to put a little bit of glue just to hold everything in place. And then I just put a little glue and then I just go over it with a paintbrush.